Notice the alignment's being moved. That's moving the vertical alignment. And that's just a bit of a clip on that we don't have here at UZ. A lot of companies do have for marketing purposes. We won't be using the sheets functionality, but we will be putting in an AutoCAD and putting a title block in it. These are the point values that you can investigate from the survey. And there's a wee bit of structure involved when you do bridges. Well, this is the famous platform that we did in civil and structural. So those bits on the side of the road are batter slopes. You can see them. You can see when we move design, things move in 3D as well. Doesn't particularly inspire me to want to buy the package, but it's better than nothing. I'll unhide that. So that information about the ANZ template is now available. That would Dave clicked on. And here's your registering. That's the old instructions on how to download and install AutoCAD, but obviously you won't do the AutoCAD, you'll do the Civil 3D instead, but the instructions are there which will help you with Civil 3D, but we've got a person doing it in class, which means we have an expert here, which you can all ask later on, assuming he does it correctly. I'll just go through my introductory notes to make sure there's nothing I've missed out. So the Civil 3D opens up doors in America, Canada and Australia, and also New Zealand in terms of employment. Somebody with 2 or 3 years experience can expect to pretty much jump into jobs all around the place. Currently New Zealand is short on modellers with 2 or 3 years. Of course you've got to put your foot in that door first to get some sort of employment for a couple of years. But after that, the world's your oyster. So what I tried to cover before verbally, these are the topics that we'll be covering just tonight. Over the next 3 weeks. They'll all start to make sense. That should be alignment, not alignment. This course started in 2011. We've always wanted to try and make it current. We wanted to make it an exciting course that is nowhere else in the world, and I think we're still doing that to a certain degree. There's not many, if any, sounds like a song, places that you can learn a structural modelling program, which is the world's leading one, which is Revit, along with one of the world's leading 3D modelling and civil in the same course. You get a course with one of them or the other one, But as part of your education, the fact you can get a student loan to do this is even better. There will be from time to time, and possibly even in this class, industry students that come in to do the course as a, what's it called,
COP.
COP, Certificate of Proficiency. Yeah. You are expected to do 150 hours of self-directed study. I would suggest a fair percentage of that will be in this course, my one. You'll find Revit is a lot more user-friendly and may not sap up as much of your time. But the civil programs have always been a lot more meaner on students' time. And it's very difficult to pass this by trying to start it all in the last week beforehand, and like you might with a project or an assignment in other courses. I've mentioned cheating, I won't do that again. In class, don't really like coming in and finding students holding other students, what's it called, mice I suppose? Mouse? Yeah. Well, I don't like them holding other students' hands either, but the mouse is the most important one in terms of cheating. So, you know, I don't mind if you stand over another person and say, oh no, press that button. Hey bro, no, that button there, that's fine. As long as you're the one doing it, you're the one learning from it, okay? That's why the past student says, he says, no, you know, that's the button you press. But yeah, if I come in seeing that too much, you know, then it becomes a bit of a problem for me in terms of did that student actually do any of the work. So there's a little bit more that I've already covered here about assessments, etc. Okay, week one, pretty much. I'll stop there for a second and I'll just say, are there any questions? Welcome to any of the new ones that just walked in. If you haven't met me before, I teach the drawing subjects here at Unitec. I've kind of been thrown into this, so it's very new. This is going to be a challenge for anyone that hasn't done CAD at Unitec, because the standards for the CAD drawings at the end are fairly high. But I think the civil 3D side of things won't be too bad for anybody that hasn't studied here before. I think that'll be the part that you should be able to pick up the most marks in. Alright, well, we've got to get Dave back for his beauty sleep as well.
I don't need it.
You don't need it, no. Not like me. No. He's talking like he's actually younger than me. Right. Okay, so I can't remember. I'm going to kill drawings here. Only if I need to, yeah. So let's just flip back to Moodle. I'll make the files of, oh, where have we gone?
Close it.
I must have closed the project. Yeah.
Old age, you know.
Tell me why I needed you here.
You had fun. Not holding your hand, I'm going to point at the screen.
Okay, so am I logged in?
See, I logged in under me.
Yeah,
I'll log in.
was a good idea. Okay. So that's right.
What are you going to do?
I was. You've lost your status. Where's your?
Oh, Oh no, I'm still an editor. I'm still a teacher.
Okay.
You want to edit something? Show something.
No, I'm gonna give them, I'm gonna do the learning guide.
See everyone. Make available. Show something.
And focus that.
There you go.
Okay, so there are some help bits and pieces here and a tutorial link. If you feel like you're not keeping up with it or you need extra help, this one here goes through to the Civil 3D site, which has got offline help and a lot of other things as well. Scroll of death.
Yeah, we stamped over with standards.
No, that you're allowed to still do that.
I was told it wasn't.
Okay, so can you please, we have a data file here. I want you to right click on it and save it to something, maybe the desktop or a memory stick, whichever you've got. So I'm going to save link as on this computer, and I'm going to put it on my desktop. So that's the first thing.
Okay.
I'll ask you to put it in a folder. Okay.
Order disk ANZ country pack.
It's not letting me do a folder. Okay, well I'll put it under documents.
Country kit.
And the other thing that you'll have to do is save the learning guide under documents as well.
There's the exe with a download. Make sure you read the instructions at the top, at the very top, how to do it. Close all three there. Download the country kit. Double click and run it. Click finish.
So under documents, I've put my learning guide and my practice data. So I'm going to fire both those up. I'm going to fire the learning guide up, which is just a PDF. Funnily enough, it was last saved tonight at about 5 o'clock.
Do you
We
need to
found the
save,
glitch.
do you need to save link as or download it?
Whatever works for you. Whatever works for you.
What do you say?
One know how to save it, and I said whichever works for them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you've got a memory stick or if you can save it to documents. No,
Do you have an ID number?
Alright, so what we have on the screen
Okay, right, I'm going to break into mood and do something naughty.
you are.
That's alright, you won't see it.
Really? So you're all able to open up the PDF? Is there anyone having issues?
Someone can't move it yet.
Okay, there's anybody not getting into Moodle?
Yeah, sorting them.
Okay. Dave will sort you out if you're not in Moodle. He'll,
Yeah.
It's saying to for login.
you should be able to sign in using your Unity.
this one.
Yeah.
1544.
Big cut. You should be as a student entitled. Did it work? Australia.
Tapos darat na lang dito. Ako dinanat ko lang dito. Direct na lang. Tapos darat lang dito. Ay.
Oh, you having that too? So you are enrolled now. So you should be able to access the video, okay?
So na lang.
You guys want to buddy up with them,
Now, remember where you put your practice data. The main thing is to open up the learning guide for week 1. Now, there is 17 pages, but a lot of it is screenshots, so don't worry. There's very few written instructions in between the screenshots. So it's a good idea to have a piece of paper handy if you need something that isn't being written by me. Maybe you could fire up Word or something and type your notes in, or email yourself. It is a level 6 degree course, year 3 degree course, so we kind of expect that you either take notes when you don't understand something or you want to remember it, or something I demonstrate which isn't perfect on the notes, to write that down as well, because basically you're going to get a set of data as the assignment and you'll be doing these things with it. It won't be the same set, there'll be other little bits and pieces pop up, but we're taking you through these things now. For some reason you miss something, it'll show up pretty quickly when you hand in your assignment. So yeah, my suggestion, I see somebody's filming, that's great. Filming is a good idea. Writing notes is a good idea. And also going through step by step as we go through it tonight is a good idea as well, because what do they say, you have to repeat things 5 times before you get it right, Dave?
That's short for me.
I got told that on the wedding night anyway. Yeah. All right. So here's your learning guide that I'm going to be working through. The important thing, of course, is that you've got ANZ Country working for you, and I'm going to not just recommend the save as, we will actually physically stop at the end of each topic and I'll say, okay, save as number 2, number 3, number 4. I've picked on calling my file July Practice 1, my Civil 3D file. You can call it your name first if you want, you can call it whatever you want. I suggest you keep the name Practice in there so you don't mix it up with your assignment, because that could be rather lethal further down the line. And while we're on that topic, the thing about Civil 3D is we're going to create surfaces, points, we're going to create assemblies, we're going to create alignments. They all ask for a name. If you just leave it at the standard name that they name it, like alignment 1 or surface 3 or ground profile whatever, you'll lose marks when you hand in. I want you to make up a name for these things as you go along. Once again, this is practice. So I will give a practice name that you might like to use or something like that. But just remember, if you don't name these things, it's really important to name them, because when you're putting all this together, it asks for the surface name, and then it asks for the alignment, and then it asks for something else. And if you remember these names and write them down, it's real easy. You know, so that's the one, and that one, and that one. Oh, there's the road, right? But if you don't, well, you'll pick the wrong one, or you'll pick one that it's created itself. So that's another thing you'll need a pen and a piece of paper for, or open up Word and type them into Word as we go along. Okay, I've already done the new thing. The topics we're going to be going through tonight are setting up the database, checking the points, bringing the points in, putting a boundary, and creating a surface. It's not going to take, all the way up to now 6:40, it's not going to take another 2 hours, but it might take the best part of an hour to do this. For the past student, the notes there, you know, you can have a quick look yourself, maybe even do it yourself, and then it might be easier to go around and help after you're able to press the right button and see how quick you can be. Yeah. So we've already gone new. That's one way of doing it. The way that I did it was I went up the top here and went down here to new, and it was my way of checking whether we had all these ANZ things, and I clicked on AutoCAD Civil 3D ANZ Design. So click on that now if you haven't. If you already have, drawing number 2 will appear up here. But don't worry, this is only the start. We will be saving it as another name anyway. So whether you're in drawing 1, 2 or 3, we will do that. So going back to the PDF file. Okay, so the first call is to rename the drawing, and I will rename mine. Remember, all these things are only suggestions. You have the power to do what you want. Now, just like AutoCAD, you can click on here and go Save As, or down the bottom, you can type Save As in the command line. Not sure why these boxes are popping up, but we'll get rid of them. Save As, Enter, and no, oh, there it is. I'm going to call that July Practice 1. Okay, you see up the top here, that's changed to July Practice 1. Back onto the PDF file. So that says practice at the top there. We're looking for July Practice 1 on the, because that's what I've named it. So already it conflicts with here. So we go here, we make sure we're in Prospector. See these vertical ones down here? Toolbox, Survey, Settings, Prospector. We make sure that it's on that. We don't want it on that one or that one or that one. We want it on Prospector. And we click, we don't double click, we just click once. And then we right click. Do we right click, Dave? No,
What do you want to do?
Drawing settings practice.
In here, you would just probably...
Good start.
No, this time. You got drawing.
Yep. I think you. It says here. Whilst the vertical tab, right click on the drawing name and click on Edit. Drawing settings.
Okay, right,
So
we need to go and do that then.
we're going to do that. We're going to right click on the drawing name.
It's not there.
It's on settings.
No, in the right side.
Big button.
No, in the right side. The setting.
Oh, you're not in settings, you're in prospect.
Yeah, settings. Under settings.
Under settings.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
it's frustrating, that's
Can be frustrating. So edit drawing settings, and you'll get that dialog box there. So, sorry, by staying in Prospector I couldn't get it, but by going to settings, I could go right click, edit drawing settings, and I got this box here. Now, then click on no datum, no projection, and scroll down to New Zealand. So this part here, no datum, no projection, gives us all the countries in the world. So no matter whether you're from Afghanistan or Iran or China or America, you're in New Zealand now, so we better go to New Zealand. And here it is. And no matter whether you like the Mount or Tauranga or Rotorua or God help us, Hamilton, you're in Auckland, so let's roll down to Mount Eden Circuit 2000.
2000, yep, not the other one,
Not the other one, yeah.
not 1949.
So like most of these commands, it's just like AutoCAD, you go apply and go OK. Now you'll note there's a scale there at the moment. That can be changed at a later date, and also you'll note that it's defaulting to meters, and that's good too, okay? But they're just a couple of things to note. Apply and OK. So we're now basically in the Mount Eden grid, survey grid. We still haven't got our points in. We're getting there. So there we are, there's the Mount Eden circuit, and apply and OK. So you should be able to follow that through quite easily with your assignment, all right? By the way, we're not, with the assignment, we're not going to stand over you and go, press that button, press that button. We'll refer back to the practice. All right, it'll be up to you to do that. A little bit too much of that going on these days. It's the only way to learn properly. Now,
This is the engine should not have.
yeah, there's a couple of typos here. That should read this as a step engineers should not have to do. It's interesting with Dave with his surveying background and me with the engineering background. Surveys generally clash more with architects because they demand a lot more of their skills, and they're always making them do things at the last minute at 100 miles an hour. For example, whether a building clashes with a height to boundary. You know,
Yeah, they designed them now with a height to boundary clearance of 0.
zero, yeah, which is almost impossible for a surveyor to do. And sometimes the buildings are 3 stories high, you know, so it's very difficult. They do have architects clash with engineers because they want to build something up in the air and put nothing underneath it. And they engineers clash with surveyors because they stuff up the survey and they can't figure out what's going before they even do a road design. So we've both been there, done that. You tend to stick to a good engineering company once they start giving you good data. You don't go to another one. You just stay with them for life, sort of thing. Now, the next step here, some of this is more surveying than it is engineering, but a good engineering technician should know that, you know, how to manipulate a little bit of that point data when it comes in. I'm not saying you have to do it for your assignment, although you might consider doing it. But anyway, I'll show you what we have come up with. So the things that you might like to check with the points when you have a look at them, is there any levels that are miles out from the other levels? Okay, if they're all about the same ballpark, then it's probably right. Out of interest, we're at about 20 metres here above sea level. You know, if suddenly everything was like 100 metres, if this was the site, you'd be a bit suspicious that something's been done wrong. Also look for spikes or depressions, either or.
In the contour plan.
In the contour plan, yeah. The survey is only as good as the person who sets the equipment up, really,
All types of the information.
or types the information in correctly or incorrectly. Could the survey data be manipulated a little bit better so that it's put into groups? So when you bring it into AutoCAD, you turn it on or turn it off. That's quite an interesting one. You know, how many times have you opened up an AutoCAD drawing and you've gone like, oh, I really don't want to see all that information. But there's no way of turning it off without turning all the points off, which is not what you're always after. By the way, for my existing site plan, I want to see just a little cross of some sort and the level. I don't want to see the code. I don't want to see the point number. But they're all going to appear when you first see this drawing. Okay? The coordinate base for the drawings, have they come in the right place, or are they in Tauranga, or are they in Samoa, or China, or North Africa? You know, where are they? Are they in the right place? Right? It may sound funny, but 1 0 out and you're a long way away. Might as well be on a cruise halfway around the world. Another thing to look at is gaps in the survey. Is there a great big hole where they went to lunch and came back and forgot? Another common thing is they do a survey one day and they come back the next day and they start using they don't start with the next sequential number. They start with a number that they've already used. So everything goes over the top of everything and it really confuses the survey completely. And data gets deleted. So that can happen super easily. Surveyor thinks they've done everything right and there's big gaps or big holes there.
Although keep in mind, another common thing that we do is like on day 1 we might start at point number 1,000. Day 2 we might start at point number 2,000. Every firm or survey's got their own technique.
Yeah.
Try and stop that happening.
Yeah, it's true. So that will still create number gaps.
Number gaps, but not data gaps.
No.
In theory.
Yeah.
But like anything in theory,
Okay, so we want to input the points into our survey. So we've got to go up the top here to where it says point and go to point creation tools. I'll do that. There's the points and point creation tools. And we get this funny little box here now. It might appear on your other monitor, or it might appear here.
I think they've only got one monitor these
We've only
people.
got the one, okay, so it'll appear, there it is there. So, if you were having a little dream then, or trying to text your partner at the same time, it was under points, point creation tool. I won't always be able to doubly do things. Back onto the PDF. Now click on the little icon on the top right, command import points. Okay. Now, usually what precedes a bit of text is something that explains it. So there we are. That's what we click on. Then we click on the plus. And also, we need to change this to PENZ.
Actually,
P.
PNEGD.
Okay. So let's
Assuming the data's right,
Let's-
I'll just double check.
Okay. So I'm going to click on this little box up the top and go input points. And I'm going to go to PENZD.
PN, northern. Point, northern, eastern, elevation.
PNEZD, is that right?
PN.
I think we might have the wrong one on the PDF. Or just
There's two of them.
Yeah, PDF is backwards.
So, okay, so that should, this one here, I'm going to change that to P in, what, I can't do it on that one here. I can if I open it up differently. No, no, P, no. Okay, might have to take a mental note of that. Let's hope that's the only mistake. I'll re-edit these notes, but
There's
you,
on the right side of your screen, there's an edit PDF button.
oh, okay.
Now you can.
Do you wanna come up and teach?
And it loaded up.
Iba talaga yung idol.
There we are, that's cool. Okay, so that's incorrect down here, this one here. So, not quite sure, I'll go back and change that if I get the opportunity through the week. So, we now, I think the reason why I put that there is we don't alter any of these buttons. If any of them are ticked, then I suggest you untick them
For us, what we are doing.
for what we're doing at this stage.
In your survey, in your office, design office, it may well be different.
So I'll do that PMEZ thing, and I'll go plus. And now I've got to find the points file where I've saved it from Moodle. And in my case, it's under this PC document. There it is.
There's
It's
two,
called
there's space and there's
2024
a comma.
practice data. And I go open.
Well, go find the points.
See it's all appeared there. Now see
there's
how
no
that's
comma.
ticked
No
there,
comma.
untick
Use
that,
the
Space.
and go okay. Now,
Documents.
that was a bit of an anticlimax.
Oh, I see.
But if you remember with your AutoCAD commands,
Oh,
Z enter, E enter, and it brings the databases up. So what's happened there, Dave?
I don't know, what have you done, Roger?
I don't know, what have you done, Dave?
it's basically the-
Interesting. Oh, maybe, I'll just go backwards on that. Maybe, the tick needs to be there.
I think, ginamit niya kasi natin yung-
Hindi, kuya sa akin, no? Delineator. Ito yung sa akin.
Open the data.
Mas last.
On your data.
Kasi wala, lang at kung okay lang. Hindi kan sa akin. Add mo na.
But that,
I-double click mo.
Ah,
okay.
Is it enter in?
okay.
Hindi, alam mo yun ito. Dalawa. Kung zoom in, zoom out na.
Oh.
Ano ba? Kunwari ganun. Kung ano mo.
Okay, I'll just go back over that. Slight, it's not in the notes either, so, what we need to do is hit this button first, the plus key first. See, Dave was useful here. Hit the plus key first, grab the data, and then you go to PNEZD, and without ticking any of these boxes or unticking them, just simply go OK. Then you go Z enter, E enter, and the data should come up after that. So if you've got a problem, go backwards, and then, did that work for some of you, any of you?
Yes.
Yeah. Great. Now, as you can see, it's a bit of a mess, right? Each one of those points has got, if you click on one, you can see it's got 266, 33.826, and GL. GL generally stands for ground line. 33.826 is a level, and the point number is point number 2166. Okay. But at least it's all in there, and it's in our AutoCAD drawing, and
Yung
by the looks of things,
number
it's
ng
in the right
yung name
database.
ng point.
If you need help, put your hand up, the past student will pop over and help you.
Yung number ng
Okay?
Push. I see what you've done. You've input.
Yeah.
So you copied me, bad student.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not in the notes either, so it may need to be rewritten, the notes. So really, you should be bringing in the data first, and then setting it to the, yeah. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'm going to go save as, and I'm going to create a practice 2. July practice 2. Now that means that it's a bit like those computer games where you go through a door. You don't have to go back through again and kill the queen to get the king or whatever. You can go back to that safe level. And I suggest with the assignment, it's a damn good thing to do as well.
Always,
Right?
always have saves. Every time you do something important,
Yeah.
save it under a new name, carry on, so you can always back up to a known good state.
Oh, you went for that. Do you use it at work? Do you? Oh,
Okay. Cool. Alright.
so, yeah,
Straightforward. You should be up here.
you should be up here helping me. Well, that's good. Simon's coming through in week 3. We won't be using sheets, you'll have to input it into AutoCAD and then we'll be putting it
Kaya daw siya sa akin.
Why are you here?
Grabe.
No, that's cool. Nice to know you in the class, we'll see you next week, eh? Might love to help out a little bit. Okay, do you do regular at your work?
No, so they used to use 12 all the time when I got that license.
Saan ba? Saan all? Ano? May ano? Trabaho na siya. Trabaho niya ngayon. Ano daw?
Trabaho na to?
Oh, yung gumagamit ng CBCB.
Kaya wala lang to sa kanya.
Parang ano lang, basic lang.
Yun sinabi niya. Ano sa kanya.
Alright.
That's right, okay. They might be looking for some of the teachers in the future. Because the student numbers are blowing up quite a bit with the nationals coming today. And both of us have got the workload because it made us do this first.
I know you came in on Friday. It's fine, I know you're strict standards. But we know deal with the same standards, and the lady there was even stricter. She's in the district for 50 years. Cheryl Wellington.
Oh my goodness, I've said that name before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, like, yeah, well, he used to, her husband is Helen.
Yes, okay.
She told me. She was on my
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. So the thing about this class is if you do take it, it's night time, so you can do your day job. And once a week, you walk around and also for the kids, you see okay. No, you go home and have a good night. You'll nail it, so that's fine.
YouTube. Madali lang daw.
Alright, so the
Yung
next step,
assignment sa kanila.
Let's go look at the backstreet boys. I'm a bit suspect about these characters.
the next week was.
Yeah, I know all about these characters. Now what I'm asking you.
Street boys.
Mga idol natin yan.
Madali lang daw sa kanya.
Okay, this particular part, I should not be making too many mistakes. because we did this about half an hour ago before class, or an hour before class. If you look at the data, it's very much the wrong size text, and those crosses are bloody big as well, right? So what we need to do is to change all the data so the text types are a reasonable size and the crosses are a reasonable size. The problem is this particular practice exercise, I've not told you what title block to put it in or what size. So you remember the maths we did? The scale was 1 to 500, text height is 3.5. Yeah, you may or may not remember that. At the moment, let's just put it at a size that we're comfortable with, and we can change that whenever we want to later on. At least you'll know how to do that. Alright? So we're going to change the cross, we're going to change the text size, and hopefully you'll see what I'm talking about. And later on down the track when it goes into AutoCAD, before it goes into AutoCAD, we can do that at a calculated text type. So at the moment it's pretty disgusting and you don't want that on your drawing. So let's roll out a little bit and select all the, we don't need this box anymore, we can cross that. Select all the data, okay, and this property box appears on the right hand side. Now if we go down the property box, we see style, and we see that we can change that to standard. But nothing's happened so far. So the next thing to do is down arrow there and go to create, edit at the bottom. So let's do that again. Under the style to the right hand side, change it to standard. A down arrow will appear over here. Go to the bottom of the down arrow and go create, edit. Now the top of that box should say style.
Like the project, stylish.
Yep, style, like my old jersey that I'm wearing tonight. In case I get a black marker on. Down arrow, and we go edit current selection. That's all on the PDF. We click on that and we get a new box and we go to marker along the top and we change this. I'd say let's make the text 0.3, it'll look a lot better.
0.3.
0.3. You can go, you don't have to go 0.3, just go 0.3, whatever, okay? So once again, we go apply. Oh, by the way, if you want to change that marker, you can put a circle there if you want, or a dot, or a cross. A cross is probably the best one at the moment. And then go apply and OK. And OK there. Now believe it or not, when you zoom in, all the crosses have come to a reasonable height.
They've all shrunk, just like my clothes.
Yeah, that's right. And all of my t-shirts keep shrinking too as you use them.
All those hot washers you give them, not all those pork pies.
I've now selected them again, selected all the data, and we go to the next one down, which is point label size, style. We go and change that to, do we change it to standard or we just go?
Pick one of the ANZ ones.
Oh, we pick one of these here, and I'm suggesting that what you need to do, I'm going to pick this one called points and
All point numbers, elevation, code,
all point numbers. Oh yeah, all point numbers and elevation code raw. You don't have to pick that one, but it depends what you think's best for what your existing site plan is gonna look like.
Don't
And-
pick the no display one, does that turns
Yeah.
everything off?
Yeah, I wanna see the level, like we did in civil and structural drawing. I wanna see the code, which will tell me what it is, edge of pool, edge of seal, edge of ground, edge of whatever, cause they've all got little codes on them. And I wanna see the point number,
Yeah.
because later on, I might want to draw lines between the points.
You can always come back and change it, I mean, these are not fixed.
No,
You know, you can change it to your work and you, okay, I need to change it to this now for my next part.
so I'll go that one, and now I'll go down arrow, create and edit like we did before. I'll down arrow on there and go edit current selection. And this is where we have to change
Yep.
under layout this time. This is where we have to change the point number, the elevation and the description.
Three things you've got to do on this page.
So we'll start with the point number, we'll change that to 0.3. We'll then go to the point elevation, change that to 0.3. We'll then go to the last one, point description, and we'll change that to 0.3.
Just for the one. So back to point number.
I think we didn't do the point number properly.
Yeah.
0.3. Notice on the preview, it's changing over here.
So the preview is live, so as you're changing things, it should reflect it in the preview.
So we'll go apply and OK,
Okay.
and OK. And now look what's happened to my data set. Everything's gone smaller, and I can see the points, and I can see the point number, and I can see the elevation and the ground line. Now please be aware that any of those can be turned off through the same method. They can be increased in size, decreased in size, and I think even, Dave, moving them closer to the point, if you want to move it closer to the point. Let's just go and have a look at that, under create and edit. Pretty sure there was,
There's an offset somewhere, so you can probably change the X offset to minus.
yeah, there's offsets here that you can change to make them, closer. Oh, down the bottom here, there's a gap
Oh,
as well. You can keep that gap lower.
so there's all sorts of things you can play with pretty enough, okay, so
Yeah.
that's an exercise left for you to play and figure with and decide which is the best looking.
Yeah. And you can also rotate the level to 45 degrees. You'll see that as one of those options, which means that it will be a little bit different than anything else on the drawing.
I think as a surveyor, we would normally play with, leave them on, get it all sorted, and then, but when you're exporting it, all the engineers and design people know it's just, all I want to know is the elevation, so we would turn everything off and just turn on the elevation.
In your assignment, I'm going to give you point numbers that join up to form the boundary of a pond. And I'll give you point numbers for where the trees are. And I'll give you point numbers for where the edge of the creek is, in the path, sorry. So you'll have to physically draw on those points. So you'll want to see the point numbers on there. But when it comes to seeing them on the drawing, you won't want to see those point numbers anymore. You will want to see the cross and just the level, just like we did in civil instruction drawing.
So it's very powerful, you can turn things on and off, you won't lose any data, it just hides it and turn it back on.
Okay, so moving along, the next part, that actually covered quite a few pages there.
You know, we had 15 screenshots here.
It took us about an hour to do that tonight before we figured it all out, but that's it all there. If you've forgotten any of those steps, they're all there for you. They're still going strong. Surface it. Woohoo! Okay. Okay, so it's saying here that we should now go file, save as, and call it the next number. Yeah, well, the thing is that you don't really want to have to do all that again. You know, all those dialog boxes. I mean, you learn, but
Oo na eh.
you'll
Well, I've
also,
done it that many times, I can do this set in about 2 minutes.
Nag-save ka dapat nung after mo ilagay yung drawing. Pero wala. Alam mo, trigger
Do
na
it, I
natin.
break it,
Skip
mate,
mo
okay?
isang step.
Start again. Do it, break it, mate, then back up.
okay, we've got some points. Now we're going to do a little bit more exciting than just bringing point data in. We're going to create a surface. So how do we do that? We go up to where it says surface, up the top here, and we go create surfaces. So let's do that. Okay, so surfaces, create surface. Okay, we've got, we need to name our surface. Do we? Yes, we do. So here's our name down the bottom here. I'm going to call my surface, and I'm not going to call it surface 1. I'll call it practice surface. So surface, no, practice surface.
You'll often find it called existing ground, because that's the survey, that's ground truth currently, and the surveyor, then the engineers will
Yeah.
be creating something on top of it.
I think I've said to call it existing ground, so I'll call it EG, practice surface EG, existing ground. The next step is I should really take a pen and a piece of paper and write down what I called that surface. But I'm not, I mean, it will appear on the left-hand side, but at the moment, I think at a learning stage, it's a good idea to write down what you called it. Okay? So when you come back in here and you go through this as practice, then you will, it would be a good idea to do that. Now, the next step is the dots on the right hand side, the 3 dots. I'm clicking on that. Notice the name is practice surface. Yeah. Did we not?
You're in the wrong place there,
Sorry, beg your pardon. I think we need to give it a description, which is existing ground. And down here we need to bring in some of our styles. Now, this is for contours, and this is where A and Z styles come into play. Now, at the moment it's set to 0.5 of a metre. I'm going to grab, by clicking on those dots on the side, I'm going to grab an A and Z one with triangles. No, I just had them with contours. So this is for our
Oh, yeah, here we go, 0.1.
0.1. Okay, so we'll go to 0.1. Okay.
Point on the triangle?
No, right at the top, just 0.1. Scroll up to the top,
Scroll up to the top, you'll find
0.1.
one up
ANZ,
here.
0.1. Found it?
Yeah,
Cool.
0.1.
That's all right.
Okay, and then the next one down is scroll down to, what's this one going to be?
Render material.
Oh no, we're not going to do that.
I didn't think you were.
Thank you.
Just leave it where it should.
Leave it at 0.1.
Leave it where it was, I think, because you probably do want it. Oh, you missed one.
Random material.
Render material. What's it doing? Maybe we can ignore that for the moment.
I'll go backwards. Sorry.
Which is it,
We're just going to redo things and catch up. So,
Surfaces, create surface,
Put in your surface name.
yeah, existing ground,
Yeah.
description, oh, sorry, e.g.
Change that one to point one, that one.
Change this one to point one,
Just scroll up slightly. Keep that. There we go.
okay, and leave that at point five. Okay, so we're gonna have 0.5 contours, 0.1 contours, and the major contours will be 0.5, won't they? I'll see what happens.
Maybe we can adjust it afterwards.
Okay.
Again, everything can be, as the movie people say, fixed and post.
Okay, just go okay.
Alright, now you need to go to your surface,
Now we need to go to projector, don't we?
Prospector.
Sorry, the next step is we go to prospector, not setting. Scroll down to find our surface. If you click on the plus arrow, you'll see the surfaces, and that's why you need to remember what their name was. Existing ground. And we carry on down to definitions, and then point groups. And on point groups, we right click and go add. Is that right?
Yeah.
Add.
Points.
And we click on all points,
Line.
apply, and OK. And magically, the contours will appear. I'll go back over that,
Except for the naughty ones.
except for the naughty ones. So we'll go back here. You look on your, you go to prospector, you come through surfaces, you find the existing ground surface, the definition, and then you go to point groups. Right click, add,
May pinalitan ka?
Wala.
and click on point groups, apply, and OK.
Wala akong nilagay sa render. Hindi po ba yung render mo?
Hindi ko pinindot yung render talaga.
Now,
Napindot mo yung render kasi magbabak.
my eye automatically goes, that is a slope down there, and a slope down here,
Pati sa kanya.
but there's a big problem in the middle. Anyone like to guess as to what that is? Flying saucer? Yeah. It looks a bit like a, I don't know, one of those hats that they wear in Central Asia to keep away from, yeah, or Mexico, I suppose. But when we zoom in, we see that that level's 55. There's something wrong there, so we ring the surveyor. We say, is that you, Dave? Yeah, you made another cock up. Right. There's a level in there called 55. What should we do with it, Dave? Well, do you want to delete it before the boss sees it? Yep. Okay, so here it is here. What we do is we go to EG up here, or in your case, or in my case, existing ground, EG. We right click, we go edit surface style. Then you go delete. Would you go delete? No, I think you go edit surface style.
Contour siguro. Kinukuhan pa rin yung kinakakata.
Oh, okay. First change the contour interval. We go to points. I think we go to delete, don't we? No.
You've got to go find the point number.
I I think we can go click, right, click and delete. Yeah, okay, so, a step not written in there is you click on the point and go delete. Okay, and see over here, what's happened is there's exclamation marks everywhere. So what we do is we go to the existing ground and we right click and go rebuild. And you'll notice it's gone. And the contours now make sense. So I'll just go over that again because it's not in the notes. It's something you may have to write down. Okay, so another good reason to save is do another save. So I'll do another save. Save as. And we'll call that
Tapos delete.
number 4.
Delete lang? Tapos ito. Rebuild.
Oh, sorry.
Rebuild.
We have to bring back that horrible flying saucer.
Aye.
Okay, now we've gone in. I'll go back one more step.
Months.
Several more steps. Okay, so the point's back there. We click on the point. We right click. Oh, sorry. We click on the point and use our delete button on the keyboard. Careful you don't click on the contour, you click on the point. Over here these exclamation marks will appear. Right mouse on the existing ground and go rebuild. And you notice all the exclamation marks disappear. When we rebuild, we end up getting pure
Paano
contours.
napunta yung ganyan? Baka sa setting mo, may na-check ka. Triangulate. Parang ganyan.
Baka natanggal.
Triangles. Nasa setting mo lang siguro yan dito sa...
Now, the next thing we're going to do is, do we want to change the contour intervals, Dave?
No, we can handle that for the moment. Or you can change it if you wish.
If you want to change the contour intervals, you can do it by going like this. You go to the surface and prospector, and you right click and go surface style, surface properties. Edit surface style, contours, the contour intervals, which is this one, and you get a minor interval of 0.1 and a major interval of 0.5. Say, for example, we want a minor interval of 0.2 and a major of 1. We can now do it like that. Go apply and OK.
Yeah, the contour intervals are important depending on the
Yeah.
detail required, okay?
So in the assignment, I may ask for contour intervals every 200 or every 100. You'll need to change it like that. So that is also highlighted on the PDF over here. All right, that's exactly what I just did then. Changed it to 0.2 and 1. And OK, apply and OK. Oh, here's where we delete the point. Yeah. There is another way of deleting the point by bringing that point up and then right clicking and deleting it off the actual data sheet.
Na-change mo na.
I won't go over that because I've already done that.
Oo, nag-change. Nag-change na.
We've now got contours and levels. Let's have a look. Okay, contours and levels. Lastly, we need to create. Second, lastly, we need to put a boundary on. So putting a boundary on is probably a good idea to save right now because we don't want those contours to disappear. So file, save as. We'll make that number 5. And now it's saying to us that you've got to draw a boundary around where you want your site to finish. Now I'm okay with this side, but I'm not very happy with all this in here, so I'm going to create a boundary in a second, but I need some AutoCAD tools. So to do that, I will go to drafting, and I'll down arrow over here and go to show menu, and you'll notice the AutoCAD tools appearing along the top. So I'm going to go draw, line, and I'm going to draw, we want to draw a P line. And I'm going to draw a line basically around the outside.
Make sure you're outside of points. If you want to keep.
Yeah. Well, I'm okay keeping. So draw, P line. And I'm drawing my boundary on now, just outside of the points.
Now remember, this is the dirty engineering way, not the professional surveying way.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure what he means by dirty engineering way. But we're getting there.
We're getting there.
And I don't need that weird contour over there.
Keep close to the existing points, otherwise.
So you draw your own boundary on here. You'll need to make some decisions with the assignment. Now you must close this by clicking on the end and going enter. And now go back to Civil 3D where it says 3D modelling. And you'll get all your modelling bits and pieces come back again. Sometimes things move. I just lost my prospect. Yeah? What was that?
You're in 3D modeling, what you want to be.
So yeah, so it's a 3D.
Sorry, Civil 3D is what I want to
Yeah,
be,
they'll bring everything back.
which will bring everything back. Yeah. Don't need to prospect that one. Okay, so I've got my boundary line around. It's probably a good idea to put that on a boundary layer, so that because it's in 2D, it's not in 3D. So the next step on the PDF, as we draw tonight's lesson to an end, yeah, is to go to Prospector and then right click and go add to where the boundary is. So the next step is to go to Prospector, go down to boundary, right click and go add. Give it a name once again, pen and piece of paper. Boundary, we'll call this site boundary. 1. And we'll go OK. Was there anything we should have clicked on in that box? Let's have a look.
Probably would have preferred to go,
Oh,
doesn't really matter, but
untick the non-destructive break line.
yeah, break line.
Break line. Call that yeah, site boundary or something like that. And go OK, and it's asking to pick on it, and I'm going to pick on it there, and I've now created a boundary. You go over here, you'll see, we already see it.
Saan ka makakalala?
Definitions.
Oh, quite ready.
Double click?
And right click.
Okay.
Anong pangalan ng model?
BD1.
Personally, I wouldn't have drawn around the point at the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Kailangan P-line. P-line pala dapat. Line ginawa ko.
So we've created the boundary. And lastly, we're going to make a surface. So under prospect, we're going to right click on surface properties and then object viewer, aren't we?
Point 1 lang din tayo.
Prospect Road.
Select mo lang isa-isa tapos si pila.
Oo.
Pila.
Okay, so yeah, well we are.
Pero right click.
Okay, so this is the very last part of forming a surface. So along the top, we go to survey up the top, object viewer,
Ay, dapat inabot.
and select. Well, I'll show you what to do.
Dapat inabot plane layer.
So at the top, we go survey. We go object viewer. It's asking to select the surface, so click on one of the contours and enter, and you get this box. Holding your left mouse down,
Then
you
merge
can
polyline.
play with the surface, and if you're lucky, and we go at the top and go to conceptual
Yes. Yes mo lahat yun.
or realistic.
Join.
There we go.
Join.
Conceptual, you'll get a ground surface that's got contours on it in 3D.
And you can change to other ones. You can sort of see where it dips off to the left, curls up to.
It gives you a very good idea of where you might be putting your road. So we'll be putting our road sort of along this ridge and then curl it around to the top part. And that's where we end tonight. I'm sorry I'm sending you home an hour earlier, but I really would like you to get to that point, if you can, from following through on the PDF. It doesn't, that surface doesn't always appear straight away. It might take a wee bit of twisting and turning and playing with the different ways you look at it up the top. You putting your boundary in?
Yes, but how to select it?
And just
Going around. Have you done your boundary?
No.
You need to do the boundary.
Yeah.
Oh no, you draw the boundary first, then you select it. So in 2D, using AutoCAD command. So up the top, change from civil 3D to drawing and annotation. This one down. Drawing or drafting and annotation. Down arrow here, like you do with AutoCAD. Down arrow. The middle one. Showing you that. So that's your drawing from AutoCAD. So you go to draw. There you go. Try to keep away, try to do it around the outside. So draw it and close it.
Ah, okay.
Oh, okay.
Hindi. Pero ano, nagano siya? Nagano siya? Tama naman siya dito, pero pag ano.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, there's no marks for doing that, but there will be marks when the assignment comes along. Yeah. it's quite a lot of learning on the first night. I did think about just doing an introduction and getting you into it next week, but I thought if we could get this far, at least you get a wee bit of an idea of what the program expects of you. And it is very easy to press the wrong button. Already I've done it a few times. Also, my notes aren't perfect, or our notes aren't perfect. But by turning up to class, you'll figure out how to get around any small problems. Good idea to bring a piece of paper, write down where things are a little bit different. And